Hey guys, welcome to Chase the Deal. I hope you're ready.
And with the big number 176 in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Damone Clark, linebacker, LSU.
Thanks for coming on.
I appreciate you for having me.
It's exciting. It's good to meet you. I've heard a lot of great things about you, and I've done a little research on you too. So.
Research. I wouldn't call it research.
Well, it's not Google, Wikipedia, right? That's accurate. Wikipedia, everything's the way it's supposed to be.
But yeah, we kind of just wanted to start off with, early life and kind of,
learn more about you. So what we do, a lot of what we do is about relationships, right? So that's kind of what this is all about, is learning who you are and letting people know who you are. So you were born in New Orleans, right? Yes. And then Katrina, your family was misplaced?
To Baton Rouge, yes.
Okay.
Sir.
So you were like 5 years old?
I was 5 years old, yeah.
What do you remember of that?
I mean, I just remember waking up and, seeing the water rising, and, my mom we were stuck, and my uncle, he was actually living in Baton Rouge at the time. He wound up coming in. We wound up leaving, going back with him, and we never looked back. I mean, we didn't have much of nothing.
You just left.
Yeah,
that's left. All you could do.
It was like a lot of we stayed for a while, but it got to a point to where you couldn't even stay anymore. You know what I'm saying? You just see everything just was destroyed. And my mom's called my uncle, and he came and got us, and we wound up going to Baton Rouge. I don't remember the pastor's name, but he wound up opening his church for us, and he turned his church into a shelter.
Really?
Wow. The church at the time was called Heavenly Hope in Baker, and he wound up turning his church into a shelter. It wasn't just me and my immediate family. It was like cousins and aunts. It was a whole bunch of us. Some went back to New Orleans, but my relatives, like my mom's, my dad, my brother, we wound up staying in Baton Rouge.
How would you say that impacted you, though? Or did it impact you? You're 5 years old. Like, it's a lot of chaos.
Yeah, it was. I didn't really understand what was going on. I just knew we had to leave, you know. But I know I'm kind of getting down the line. But in 2016, we had a flood that hit in Baton Rouge.
Right? Yeah,
that wound up showing me, that nothing's promised, because we lost everything again. So that's twice we lost everything. I was 16, so I was able to really understand what actually
put
happened.
it in context at 16, right? Yeah, I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, and like I say, it made me grow up, and it just saw like everything that my mom and my dad worked hard for, it was destroyed. Because I remember that when waking up, and we just all waking up, it's like, why they got water in the house? And then the water was just steady rising. And then my mom and my dad, they was trying to stay, but it got to a point that they couldn't stay anymore either. So we lost everything again.
But I like what you said as, nothing's promised.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And, so that's kind of life, though. Do you know what I mean?
Damone's one of the most humble, down-to-earth guys I've probably ever met.
Everything I do is I just do it for my family. I have a 3-year-old daughter. That's what I really do it for. I do it for my daughter, But like I said, I'm 23 years old, I feel like I can hold the world on my shoulders, and I just know like
you probably can.
Yeah, you probably can. And it's great to have that. So family, do you have siblings?
Mm-hmm. I have 3 other brothers and 2 sisters. I'm the baby of 6.
Okay, the baby of 6.
Yes.
Wow,
babies are the best.
Did they all come in for the game?
Nah.
Just your mom and your daughter?
Just my mom, my dad, my daughter, my brother come every now and then, but that's about it.
So mom and dad still together?
Yes.
Still, what do they do professionally?
My dad works at a truck inspection spot.
Okay.
So they put the beds on the trucks, inspect the trucks, and sell them. And my mom work at La Quinta. She still work at a hotel. She's been working at the same. Over 10 years, my mom been working at the same hotel. So that's an extra motivation too. So one day maybe, I can get my mom's her own hotel and she owned it.
Yeah. I mean, that's awesome.
That'd be incredible.
That's a goal.
We'll make that happen.
Yeah,
for
sure.
Definitely.
Make that happen for sure. Yeah, no, explain a little bit about the, when we were looking in the lab prep school that you went to for, was that kindergarten through, did you stay there all the way through 12?
No, I wound up I started at Southeast Middle School, and then I wound up going to Southern Lab in the 8th grade all the way through 12th grade. I wound up going there, but that's a small 1A school.
Yeah.
a predominantly black school. And
What was the motivator of going there? Is it like a magnet school or is it?
It's like a semi-preparatory school.
Okay.
Semi-private school.
Got you.
And it was like I said, it's a small school, but it was one big family there.
Good sports?
But it's,
Yeah, they was really good at
yeah.
sports.
And it's been around for like 100 years.
Yeah, one of the notable people that went there, Marcus Spears.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah, so the crazy thing, Marcus Spears went to Southern Lab, went to LSU, got drafted to the Cowboys, and it's like I'm following in the same footsteps. I went to Southern Lab, went to LSU, now I'm with the Dallas Cowboys right now.
Can you believe where you're at today?
Sometimes I really don't believe I'm where I'm at, because just knowing where I come from and knowing my background, that not a lot of people from where I'm from make it. So I mean, every day when I wake up, I just thank God every morning, because I know, I mean, a lot of people, like I say, where I'm from, don't get this opportunity. So for me, I'm doing this because I love football, and I see what football was able to take me, and I'm doing it for the people back at home that that didn't get a chance to play like they wanted to.
Right. And did you play like coming up? Did you always play when you were a kid? Did you play like league football when you were little?
So when I first started playing football in 2006, so it was a year of being in Baton Rouge. I started playing flag football with the Baton Rouge Bears, and then I wound up moving to tackle football, and I played with the South Baton Rouge Jaguars, and I played with the Jaguars all the way from 7 all the way up till I think the age is 13. I was playing with the South Baton Rouge Jaguars.
How big were you then?
Man, so crazy thing, we used to have like a little media day. That's where all the teams in the league, go. We do measurements, take the team picture and stuff. Like for Pee Wee football, I think you had to be 100 pounds or under. So my mom, we always kept a scale at the house. So if I was over 100 pounds, I had to play on the O-line.
Yeah.
Man, when I say I ate salad, I was like, man,
You're cutting it.
yeah, man,
Yeah.
I remember that, because I was playing running back, and really everything on defense, I was playing that, and I just did not want to play O-line. I couldn't do it, so I used to eat salads and stuff all the time, man.
That's crazy. And so then, when did the offers start really rolling in? Like junior year, senior year?
Yeah, my junior year.
Everyone?
Yeah, really a lot of schools
How was
offered
the
me.
recruiting process on that? I want to know.
It's good to a certain extent, but then it gets kind of aggravating, you know what I'm saying? Because you got all these different teams. So some schools offered me, but then you don't hear back from them, which that's kind of weird. But once you're a senior and then that early signing period come around, the early signing period is in December. So once that early signing period come around, I mean, school's starting to come at you like aggressive, and it got super annoying, because they would blow my phone up, blow my mom's phone up, blow my dad's phone up, blow my coach's phone up. And it was just like, it was super, like, I appreciate it, because obviously, like, I always want to play college football, and, you got to go through college to get to the NFL most of the time.
Did you narrow it down pretty quick?
Yeah, I wound up
Like a top 5 or something?
I only took 2 visits. I only took a visit to the University of Texas, and I took a visit to LSU. And that was the only 2 schools that I actually saw myself going to, with Texas not being super far from home. And then with Louisiana, literally, I mean, not Louisiana, LSU, literally right there in my backyard. I was 20, I stayed 20 minutes away.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So then you chose LSU,
Mm-hmm.
and that was 2018.
Yes.
And then you played freshman year, right?
Yeah, I played a little bit, but then mostly I played on special teams. As a young guy, you just try and get up to the speed, and the same thing happened for me last year. So it's, I'm getting a little ahead of it, but it's like the same things that just keep happening for me, and I'm just blessed.
Absolutely. Well, you put in the hard work, and you absolutely deserve it. Everything you've put in is starting to pay off now.
And I read somewhere one of the top linebackers in the history of LSU.
Yep. And
that's nothing to sneeze at. Do you know what I mean? Like that's pretty serious acclimates.
First team all SEC. Y'all won the national
in
championship.
2019. That was my sophomore year. Yeah.
How'd that feel?
Man,
Surreal.
I was a young guy, and that was one of the games I started my sophomore year, and I was super nervous that game. It's in the Superdome. It's the best 2 teams in all of college. Everybody's watching this game, and even to this day, I still be like super nervous heading into a game. But not even just because like I'm unprepared or anything. I'm just like, I just want to be right, and I just want to be great, and I be super eager.
You got a little bit of them nerves.
Yeah, every game, even to this day, I still have to be super eager, and I'm like, once I, make my first tackle, or once the first series go by, I'm like, oh, let's go.
It's awesome.
I can only imagine being at that game. I know I had some friends at that game, but man, that's incredible to be on the field playing like that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
The energy
Having
was
all those
crazy.
people looking at, watching you, and
Oh, yeah.
but it's like it's been your whole life coming.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like your life has prepared you for this moment.
Definitely. Definitely.
So you've mentioned your faith a couple times. That's a big driving force for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Because I wouldn't be in this position if it wasn't for God, man. Like my God and my family,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be in this position, and I would be doing myself a disservice if I didn't give thanks to God and give thanks to my family for having me here.
Yeah. Well, that's great. I mean, that's what it boils down to, though.
Yeah.
And we three have that in common. You know what I mean? Strong faith, strong family. I think that it's a great motivator, and it's just, that's awesome. How did you, I'll do a little pivot here. How did you get hooked up with this guy? How did you and Chase get connected?
So, Simi Fahoko,
Oh yeah, I met Simi. Yeah.
Simi used to play with the Cowboys, and I'm renting a home right now. And I was talking. Simi's one of my best friends on the team.
He's a great guy.
He's
a
really
great guy.
Shout out to Simi. He's
shout
got
out-
he's got
he
that
just scored
touchdown
a
the other
touchdown.
night.
Yeah, I
I
was
know,
watching the
right?
game, bro.
We were just talking about that too, and just how things happen for him different than what he would have probably hoped for them to happen, or the way that. But look where he's at and how he's
that's
doing.
That's the tough part about being in the NFL. Obviously, like going into off season or going into camp, it's a 90-man roster, and then they got to cut it down to 53. And that's the tough part about being in the NFL. But he knew he was going to get his opportunity. Obviously, you never want to, leave the team that you're with. I know, like, even this organization is a great organization to be with, but at the end of the day, it's a business too. But I actually was out eating with my family Sunday night, and I saw him score a touchdown, and I was super excited for him because I know everything that he's been through, going from getting cut, getting on the practice squad, and then actually signing to a 53-man roster.
It got me emotional a little bit because, the minute I found out that he got, released from the Cowboys, I just didn't know what was going to happen. And then, they just got the house here.
Mm-hmm.
He just had a
Just had the
baby.
baby. Yeah.
Newborn. Now they're having to go to Pittsburgh. He's on the P squad there in Pittsburgh. He was there 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, Chargers pick him up
And that's the
on the
purpose-
53-man,
that's a
and now
perfect
he's
spot for
scoring
him.
touchdowns.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Kellen Moore was the offensive coordinator here last year, and he wound up. Kellen Moore is the offensive coordinator with the with the Chargers now. So,
But that takes it back to Simi was such a good player, teammate, friend to the
Right.
coaches,
Right.
respectful, one of the best guys, and that paid off for him. Even though he had to go through a little bit of those trials to look where he's at now.
Yeah, it wasn't the plan that he thought he was
Right.
going to have. You know what I mean?
But we
But
thought he
it's
was going to
worked
be
out
at the
great.
Cowboys forever,
yeah, definitely.
just because of the relationships. And when I talked to him, forever. But
Yeah.
we'll get back on to
He's a
That's
good
how-
guy. So
that's
that's how you
how-
met Chase.
Yeah, that's how I met Chase. I met
Okay.
Chase through Simi, and this is my second year. So for me, I was renting. And I got to a point where I'm like, why am I paying someone else's mortgage when I could be paying my own?
Right.
And Simi was like, man, I have a guy. His name Chase,
I got
and
a
he
guy.
sent me. So it was Devin and Devin Harper. That's another another
Shout out to
good friend
Dev.
of mine.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dev.
Yeah.
We sit in the locker room just talking to Simi, and Simi sent both of us his IG, and immediately I text Chase on IG, and immediately he responded, and then we just jumped on the call just to get to know each other, and he just was telling me how, like, bro, I'm not going to just put you in the home.
we went to dinner one night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
went to dinner, we sat there, we just was chopping it up, and the biggest thing that caught my attention was his faith as well.
Right.
Just hearing his background. We come from similar backgrounds. Like, you wouldn't think, you look at Chase, you wouldn't think that he's a guy that come from nothing. You know what I'm saying? And you see where he at now.
Yeah,
Right? It's
absolutely.
the same thing with me, and really his faith and just similar backgrounds will caught my attention. And the biggest thing with me was he just was like, I'm not going to just put you in any home.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I was asking Simi questions before I even talked to Chase, and Chase was telling me stuff without me even asking. So, I was just like, bro, that's cool, and we just got to get to know each other, and he going through the process with me.
That's awesome though. But that shows you, just going back to the relationship and, Simi playing a part in it and taking the time to, like, sit down and have dinner, Do you know what I mean? Like again, going back to the relationship part of what all of us do. So what was your impression of him? I'm just curious.
Nah, I mean Chase 26. Like,
Yeah, he's close to your age.
yeah, I'm 23. He's 26.
You've both
and it's
accomplished more than some people accomplish in a lifetime. By the
he's
way.
not. He like Chase know his work. He know what he do. He's not arrogant. He's not cocky. He's a humble dude. You know. And I remember we went and looked at a model home, and we just riding in the truck, and we just driving, and his phone kept ringing, and he was like super busy, but I know I'm busy too, but Chase taking out of his time too to help me, you know. And
Right.
Chase was on the call, handling, you know, selling homes and doing this and doing that, and I'm just sitting there. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, he's a bit of a hustler.
Yeah, that's
like
what I'm saying. He's he be on the stuff, man. I'm just sitting there. I'm like, damn. I'm like, I know I be busy, but dang, like Chase just as busy as me, and he's not arrogant about none of it. He gives his all, you know.
Yeah,
he gives his all to it.
I agree.
Yeah,
I
no,
agree
that
with
was that was a special night. We went to dinner, and you know, I told Damone. Obviously, he's got a great contract. It's public, makes great money, can afford pretty much any house in Dallas Fort Worth right now. But I wanted to focus on the longevity of his real estate portfolio, not the now.
Right.
I'm not just going to go sell Damone a $2 million house, get that commission
Take
check,
all your money and tie it up in real estate off the beat.
give wrong advice, because when it comes to my NFL clients or just any profession, they can get put on P squad, practice squad. They can, you know, salaries are changing. Mm-hmm. The difference between the 53 man and the P squad in the NFL is a huge salary difference. So if I go put you in that $2 million home because you're on the 53 man roster, and then you get bumped down or dropped down to P squad, and your salary checks or your checks are coming in lower, you're struggling now, and that's my fault.
Right.
I take that responsibility, because I should have told you to buy this in this location for your better investment. And so that's what I'm doing with Damone and Devin right now. And Simi did it perfectly.
Yeah, Simi bought the townhouse.
Yep.
They were in the townhouse for what, a year?
A year, profited within a year.
And then
upgraded from that.
went
But they
into
were
the house,
smart
yeah.
on the first purchase. I told Damone, I'm not going to go sell you that $1 million home. I know you want it, but...
And I'll tell you, because I've been in this industry for a long, long time, there's a lot of agents that would just put you in the top dollar to start. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And not really considering what's the best for you. You're in great hands for sure.
Oh no, I definitely.
Have you settled on an area yet, or do you?
I'm looking in the Salina area.
Okay,
you know, like,
that's good.
Even just driving through, just like on the way here, you know, I was just looking in the area, like really nice homes. You can see it's like family oriented.
Yeah.
And you know, just from talking to guys on the team, and talking to Chase, like Salina is the up and
It's
coming
up and
area.
coming. So
Prosper Salina.
yeah, Prosper Salina. So Frisco for about the last 25 years was the fastest growing community in the United States, I believe. And we just ran out of space. Mm-hmm. And then Prosper is a little smaller landmass. Salina is a much bigger landmass. So that's going to go on for a long time. So your investment is better there because it's going to be building for a long time.
Yeah,
so,
and another thing for me, it was the best schooling areas.
Yeah.
Prosper. So, you know, that's the biggest thing with me having a 3-year-old daughter. You know, when that time comes for my daughter to, you know, move out here, then, you know, it's a great area of school for my daughter to be in.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's why we've been focusing on Prosper Salina right now, and you know, that good price point that I know will pay off, because like I said, the NFL stands for not for long. Me and Damone and all the other guys talk about it all the time. And I'm bringing up Dev right now because Dev's situation is literally primary example of why, another reason why I don't take you to go buy the
$1 million
plus home. Because, I mean, Dev had an incredible, Devin Harper, shout out to Devin. He had him and Damone had a great preseason, and never in a million years would we think that Devin would be somewhere else right now. Right. So Devin and we're building a home right now, and started that process while he was with the Cowboys. He's on the 53 man for what, the first 3-4 games?
Yeah, like 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, and then next thing you know, the Cowboys had to make a political, in my opinion, a political roster switch due to some injuries, which understand. But the minute Dev got dropped to the practice squad, quote me if I'm wrong, any other team can pick him up.
Yeah, so he So he got cut, thinking that he was going to clear waivers and they was going to sign him to the P squad, but he didn't clear the waivers. And
I mean, that's like putting Tom Brady, cutting him, put him on the. I mean, obviously they're different positions and different levels, but I'm just saying you don't do that,
Right? Yeah.
when he's one of your star linebackers. But
so
it is what it is.
He wound up getting picked up by Cincinnati.
He got picked up by Cincinnati like that night.
Yeah.
Like it was like next, he's in Cincinnati the next day. I'm helping, I'm on the phone with him trying to get him a condo out there for a lease. Meanwhile, we're still building his house here. So like I said, you can be anywhere at any time. So,
It is. It's ever changing. Not for long. I've never heard that analogy before, NFL.
You can get hurt at any point. The checks can.
Well, and what does that do and I'm just curious, like mentally, do you know what I mean? Knowing at any given time for any reason, do you know what I mean?
Oh no, it's tough. I mean,
you're a commodity is what you
tough.
are.
It's tough, it's super tough. And man, it's like I said, it's tough, bro, because a lot of people wouldn't be able to last in this, like I said, that with me, that goes back to me giving God all the praise and giving him thanks for being in this position. But that's what you sign up for.
But it's the mental as well as the physical, right?
Yeah,
so
it's
I mean,
both.
you can keep your body together, right?
Mm-hmm.
You run and work out and you do everything that you have to do because that's your job. And I think the key part, and I think today more than ever, is staying on top of that mental aspect of it.
For me,
and
it's
just
the mental is
staying
bigger.
positive and having a heart of gratitude.
Yeah.
And you seem to be very humble and grateful, and you know where all of it's coming from anyway.
Oh yeah,
Do you know what I
definitely.
mean?
Like I say, the mental, to me, the mental part is way more important than the physical part, because at the end of the day, football is football. It's just the highest level of football. But at the end of the day, if your mental's not right, then you're not going to be happy.
Right.
And this profession is tough. And like I say, with me, every day I give God thanks because I had neck surgery.
So I was gonna bring that up because I was reading about that, the spinal fusion.
Yeah.
Which sounds like a lot, okay, when you hear that. But then I was talking to Chase about it, and I'm like, hey, did we talk about the spinal fusion? And he's like, oh yeah, let's talk about that, because
talk about it. Talk about it if you want. I know you've already told me the story,
you can
but
say whatever
the people watching
you
that
want to
don't
say about
know.
it. But I think it you read something like that and you think, and I thought, well, he must have had an injury that he knew about that was bothering him, but that wasn't the case.
No, I mean, for me, man, I've found out at the combine,
But projected to be a first round pick.
Yeah, I was projected to be the first round pick, and I mean, I found out at the combine, it was heartbreaking. I mean, honestly,
for sure.
It was heartbreaking. But even to this day, like, I know I can sit here and talk about it because I know that's part of my testimony, and for
There you have it.
I wouldn't be here today, honestly, if that didn't happen to me, because that honestly matured me and that made my relationship even closer with God. Because I mean, I had my surgery. I wasn't doing nothing. Like, I had my surgery out in California, and then I went back home. I wasn't doing nothing. I was sitting in my apartment all the time, just sitting there, and I was by myself a lot of times. I wanted to be alone a lot of the times, and that's when I got closer with God, and He got me this far.
Because you go one of two ways in that situation. I'm thinking like sitting alone in your apartment after going through a surgery like that. I mean, you can go one of two ways, right? And you chose to go towards God and just really understand,
I understand
what the season in your life, what it was for.
At the moment, I didn't understand. Like, at the moment.
Well, it seems anybody would go, well, that's kind of unfair.
Yeah, I was
right.
like,
I think that's everybody's first thing is like, well, that's just.
Is that standard procedure in the NFL to get MRIs done and all that done, or was this a different situation?
Before a team sit there and invest their money in you, of course they're gonna want to do everything.
Physicals and stuff.
They want to give you once over.
They want to give you all this money, like,
which I understand.
Yeah, and I mean, it's fair. I feel like it's fair because, I mean, put yourself in their shoes.
But it was something that you didn't even know existed, correct? Mm-hmm. You didn't know it was a herniated disc, right?
I mean, it's football.
Yeah, I mean, it was a football.
Like, bro, it's football.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, man, bro, like it was heartbreaking, you know, for me. I'm just like in my head, I'm like, man, can I do like some rehab or something? Like,
Yeah, how can I
you know,
do
and they
this
just
without?
telling me like, man, if you don't have the surgery, then we're gonna medically disqualify you too. Like,
Wow.
because no teams
gonna
not
pick you up.
to pick you up.
So there's like making a decision with a gun to your head. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and with me, at
you
that
either
point,
do it or go pick another profession.
yeah, with me at that point, you know, I just bet on myself and I did it.
Good
know,
for you.
I just bet on myself. You know, I had my agent. My agent was right there on my side. My family was on my side, man. You know, and it was tough, but and I know I made the right decision. I just bet on myself at the time because I mean, the chances of me getting picked high, like I knew I was going to get picked. I knew after finding that out, I knew it was slim. You know, a linebacker with a neck injury, nah, that's not.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah,
that's not realistic. You know, and for me, so I had my surgery. You know, I got closer with God. You know, and he just kept telling me, "You don't understand what I'm doing right now, but soon you'll understand." You know, and obviously the draft come around. I still watch the draft. Like I still watched it. I watched the first round. I watched the second round. I mean, I watched all of
was
it
that kind
until I
of
got picked.
painful for you? I mean, it would have had to been
Oh, yeah.
excruciating.
Really painful because I mean I know my worth, and to this day I still know my worth, and I know where I would have went. You know, and for me, like I know every linebacker that went ahead of me.
That could have led you to a different situation, different team, different.
Yeah.
Now look at you starting. What did you
right?
play? 73 out of 74 snaps or something. What was it? How many?
The Chargers game. Oh,
Yeah.
73 out of the 74 plays.
Yeah, I mean that's literally
Yeah,
almost
that's-
every
Yeah.
snap
Yeah, that's huge.
possible.
That's what I'm saying. So like with me, everything I'm able to sit here and be the strong person that I am because of the things that I went through.
I like what you said about it. I bet on myself.
Yeah.
That's just a great thing.
I hope every NFL player, practice squad, or on the roster watches
bet-
this.
bet on
Yeah, for
yourself.
sure.
Takes this
Because
advice.
I mean,
Bruh.
yeah, you've been through it for being young and having such a young career, being young in your career as well. Like
I said, that
you've
just
been
adds
through
to
it.
my story. You know, I know every day my story is written already. You know, everything it tells you that in the Bible. It's written
That's-
already. So
yeah.
I'm just following in the footsteps, and whatever you're gonna have highs, you're gonna have lows, but whatever come along with it, I mean, you just take it.
It's how you respond.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I love
that's
that. I love
About
that.
how you respond.
Your story's written already. And it is. All of our stories are written.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is ordained. Do you know what I mean? Every
Yeah.
time you meet somebody, I always tell people like I don't believe in coincidence. I believe in divine appointment.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Like just like when Chase and I met a couple of years ago, a few years ago, like this meeting between you and I don't think it's just for today. Do you know what I mean? So
nothing
that's
is
awesome.
ever a coincidence.
Yeah, it all goes back to that underlying relationship
Yeah,
thing, which what you do with your teammates and what Chase does with his clients, what I do with my clients, and yeah, it's awesome.
And I, whether it's my, professional athletes or, anybody else, doesn't matter what they do. Prices, like I said, I told Damone, even at dinner, whether you're buying a $200,000 home or a $200 million home, you're getting the same service, the same chase,
Same attention.
It's no
Yeah.
different. And I don't give anybody else, special attention or anything because, he plays for the Cowboys. Just the best.
Well, a
the
lot
best
of people
team.
would get. I will say that a lot of people get lost in that. Do you know what I mean? In the celebrity of it.
Well, I think, and I was watching something on Rich Paul the other day. I was watching it and it was talking about how like you've got to be relatable as well to the client. And I feel like there's a lot of agents, whether it's real estate or whether it's your financial advisor or something, there's a lot of people who can't relate to the athlete world and the entertainment world. And once you can relate and you can, talk on a relatable subject, that relationship is so much better. You know what I mean?
Well, I think that's just keeping
pretty much
everybody on the
anything,
same
but-
on the same level, though. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like you're just young man looking for real estate, young man selling real estate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you don't.
But I will say that the average buyer doesn't always go for the youngest
No, for
agent
sure.
because
Yeah.
they think they're the most inexperienced. But these days, the younger agents know more sometimes than the older agents have been doing it for 25 years plus. I hate to say it, but it's true.
There's a lot of truth to that for sure.
No, that goes back to what Chase was saying, just being relatable. Because I mean, when I talked on the phone with Chase, that's just us getting a feel for each other. We went ate dinner. That's us still, we talking business, but at the same time, you still getting a feel for each other. And I wouldn't be right here right now if I didn't feel like that Chase was relatable to me. That's awkward.
Well, and I don't know a lot of agents that would do that to start the. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's sit down. Because I'm a big proponent of breaking bread with somebody. If I have a client, I'm like, let's sit down and have lunch, because that's when the world kind of slows down and you can break bread and just talk and share your stories. So when Chase told me that and said it was just a great meeting, like just the two of you kind of hanging out, eating D. Lincoln, right? And just,
D. Lincoln's my spot.
Getting to know one another. Yeah.
Shout out to D. Lincoln too. If you want to sponsor this, please sponsor this.
That's awesome. No.
Yeah, we just hit it off, and we're shopping right now. But like I said, we're not just going to go find a home to find a home. It's going to be the perfect one. It's going to be the right investment. The right one will come. I told him he'll have a piece about it, and he'll understand that it's the right decision. But
that's the big thing that Chase kept saying. He's like, if you at peace, I'm at peace. And that, even that, when he said that, I'm like, bro, a lot of people would be like, just pushing you.
They'll push you in a direction.
Push you to be like, man, I really think you should do it. Like, man, get this house. Like, and some people, you feel peer pressure and you actually do it.
That's the way I felt at the car dealership the other day.
Yeah.
I walked in and I just felt pressure.
Yeah, he's just like, bro, he's like, if you're not 100% sure, he's like, we don't have to do it. He's like, we don't have to. He's like, you ain't hurt my feelings. He's like, you don't have to. He's like, if you at peace, I'm at peace. And like I said, you don't find a lot of people like that.
No, I couldn't agree more with you.
Well, I mean, I don't just want Damone's approval for the home. I want your brother has a big part in this, your mom and your daughter. Yeah. If they all give the yes, then it's a yes. And I feel like you've been taking their advice very well through this process to find the right one, and I respect that 100%.
What else, gentlemen?
Well, they just whooped the Rams the other day. How'd you feel that game?
Oh, no, it was great. But I know I just see my improvement just each week. Each week I'm just 1% better, 1% better. And I'm getting better and better as the season goes along. And it was fun. Obviously, it's hard to win in the NFL, so no matter who it is, those guys have talented guys just like we have talented guys. And like I said, it's hard to win in the NFL. It was a great team win.
Tell us kind of, for the people that would want to know that are watching this, like what's a day in the life for you of a Cowboy player? Like, what are you doing morning till into practice?
The first thing what I do in the morning, I have my devotional time with God. Like, I can't go to the facility. I wouldn't be able to function right at the facility if I was to just like wake up and just get ready and just go to the facility. So my first thing I do in the morning, I open my eyes, I pray, and I do my devotion. I read. I got a devotional I read in the morning.
Were you raised in the church?
Yeah, crazy story. Like,
not to interrupt your story, but I just your faith is so much a part of who you are. I just kind of want to know when it started. Like, were your parents involved in the church? Or,
Well, really, my brother, and my sister, the youngest three, us the young three, we always went to church. It was a church member. His name, he died now, but he's dead now. But his name is Mr. Bush, Earl Benny Benjamin Bush. Man, it's like a grandfather to us.
That's a great name.
I love that name.
He would come pick us up every Sunday for church. Like every Sunday, he came and picked us up, or the church van would come pick us up. Yeah, and we used to go to Sunday school. We used to stay for church. We always had Sunday school in the mornings right before church, which started at 11. And my mom and them would come too. They would always come to the church service, and I was young. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, bro, I could be doing anything. I could be playing football. Like, I could be doing anything right now. And I used to fall asleep in the back of church, and like my mom and my dad used to always wake me up. They wake me up, wake me up. And then it took me till I got older to actually realize, you know what I'm saying? The importance of going to church. And that's honestly how I am. I'm in the spot where I'm in right now, just, growing up not knowing too much about church, just going to church and just checking out the box. Like, all right, I went to church. You know what I'm saying?
But
now,
so many people, that's their relationship, though. Do you know what I mean? Going to check the box that I went and not having a personal relationship.
yeah, and like with me, when I was younger, I used to just sit in church, you know. But even now, like at a point now, when I watch church, I take notes. Like you got to take notes because you go back and you read it. You know, so I go back and I read my notes all the time. You know, because like you said, there's no coincidence with anything.
Yeah.
Every week is a message, and the message won't always necessarily be 100% like pertaining to you, but you can always take pieces from it.
Right.
You know, and for me, that's why you take notes. And with me, I'm a big note taker anyway, because with me, when I write stuff down, that's when I memorize it. And that's how I wound up like loving church, just going when I was younger, and then
You're just like hungry to go.
yeah, and now it's just like even now, like obviously we play on Sundays, so a lot of the times, I don't have a church home. Yeah, I don't have a church home out here, but I watch Healing Place. It's Healing Place Church back in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I watch that church every Sunday when I can.
Yeah.
I watch it all the time. Last week we had a noon game, so I didn't get a chance to watch it. But every Sunday, whether we have a Sunday night football game, the game at 3:25, like I always watch church in the morning. I have to.
That's awesome.
I have to. But back to what Chase
So
was saying.
back to the day in the life of after your
We
devotional.
might have to come back for episode 2 and just talk about faith.
I know. Well, that's such a big part of all of our lives. So I could talk about it all day long.
I mean, that's another thing that we bonded on immediately whenever Ken and I first met was because, that's a big thing for me. It's a big thing for Ken. It's a big thing to.
Nah, definitely. So it's like, I do my morning devotionals, depending on, what time we have meetings and stuff like that. We always, you lift, you go to meetings, you walkthroughs, practice. And for me, like any chance I get in between, like I'm gonna do something to take care of my body. I know for me, after practice, Chase always texts me, and he always say like, "No, what you got going? Just tapping in with you." And I'm in the cold tub, and I just take care of my body because obviously in this profession, like if you don't take care of your body, then you can't expect nobody else.
When it's gone, it's gone.
Because me and Damone talk maybe every day.
Yeah.
And every time I call him or text him or he calls me or whatever, I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm in the cold plunge," and I'm like, I can't even talk when I'm in the cold plunge. And he's just,
you'd be hyperventilating.
Yeah, I'd be freezing. I
I
love the
just
cold
do it.
plunge.
Yeah.
But I love how you and Dev, y'all are doing PT so much. They do the cupping and the massage therapy and the acupuncture and all that.
Mo, man.
So I started.
Oh, is that the guy you were telling me about?
So I've already told Ken about
Yeah.
Muhammad. And so Damone and Devin were the ones that put me on with Muhammad. Next thing you know, he's setting up in there, treating me like one of them. And I'm like, this is awesome.
And that's even with him, that's a relationship guy. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? He's another guy that he takes every session that he does with you. He's literally not gonna leave until you feel better.
Right.
It don't matter. It don't matter what's wrong. It don't matter what time it is. He's not leaving until you feel better. And with me, I see Mo twice a week. I see Mo on Mondays and Thursdays. I always see Mo on Mondays and Thursdays, and on Tuesdays and Fridays, I go to Built For It right there in Prosper.
I only need him once a week.
Yeah, because you're
Just once a week's good for me.
So it's like, even like you say, just relationships. You just build relationships, and I didn't know about Built For It until Dev told me about it, and then I started going to Built For It. I didn't know about Muhammad. Dev and I didn't know about Muhammad until Michael Parsons told us about it, because we, last year Dev and I were both rookies, and we both, we played the same position. We bonded because I have a daughter and Dev have a son. My daughter is in Louisiana. Dev's son is in Tennessee.
Gotcha.
So it's like we bonded off that. We play the same position, and then our kids are away. So we're like, hey, we got each other.
Yeah.
And
No, that's awesome though. That's
that's
awesome.
how our relationship got.
Yeah.
That's how we built a close bond relationship. And Micah took Devin and I under his wing. We used to go bowling with Micah every Monday. Micah, any chance we get, like we'll go watch the Thursday night football games at Micah crib, and all the time, like we had went to the Post Malone concert with Micah. Micah just took us like under his wing, and one day Dev and I, we was at Micah's crib, and Mo was there, and that's how Dev and I met Mo, and that's how Dev and I started working with Mo. So that's I say like a big.
It's all about the connection.
Yeah, connections and relationships. That's all it is.
That's again the hustle of you, Chase, Mo, like these. That's what always like kind of keeps me going, gives me great faith in your generation. Do you know what I mean? Like
we
it gets a bad rap
time and time again that there's like this generation. There's nobody that wants to work. Nobody they want to be paid the most.
So when you find the exception to that
least.
rule, is what I'm saying is because your generation does get a bad rap, rightfully, deserving sometimes, because there's a lot of people that just don't want to put in the work and don't want to put in the hustle and don't, and so whenever I see that, it gives me great faith, in the future, because it's just amazing. I've learned so much about you, and you have such an amazing story, and you have just such amazing. I think your future is so bright.
Again, for me, I always wanted to be able to help someone, because I know when I was younger, I always had people that helped me.
Well, was that guy that picked you up and took you to church?
That's what I'm saying. So for me, so for me, it's like any chance I get to help others, like I want to help them, even if it's me, like with me having my surgery. I hope that encourages someone else that might be dealing with the same injury that I have, or someone that that just needs motivation. I hope I can sit there and be a helping hand in any way.
Well, and how you face adversity. Do you know what I mean? Even as a small child in New Orleans with Katrina, and then as a 15, 16-year-old in Baton Rouge with the flood, and then the NFL draft, and then the spinal fusion. Like it seems like that's a constant in your life. It's a constant in all of our lives. Big surprise that we always have adversity, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And it's all going to come towards us. But the thing is how do we handle that adversity? I know Chase has had a lot of adversity in his life. One night we were at the club talking, and he shared a lot of stuff about his childhood that I never.
When he says club, he meant the Cowboy Club.
At the Cowboy Club.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say.
At the Cowboy Club.
Me and Ken are not at the club.
No, we're not at the club. No,
he's in bed by 7 every night.
8:30. But again, but I'm in training, so I have to go to bed early. Not really. Damone laughs like, yeah, right.
No, because for me, I typically get into bed early, but for me, I try to be asleep no later than 10:30.
Yeah.
But the difference is y'all's days are like.
Yeah, you're out there
more
being physical. I'm sitting at a desk or talking to people or going to meetings and
that's why I say
having lunches and stuff.
For me, it's more of the like mental side of it too. And when I say mental, I mean like in the facility and outside the facility, in your workspace and in your personal time, because obviously you have more meeting time than you actually practice. So for me, watching the film, going walk through it, or going practice it is, that's two of the most important things, because that way when the game comes around, whether it's on Monday, Thursday, or Sunday, you prepare for it.
Yeah.
So that's when I say like the mental side of it, because like that's the importance of sleep too. Because if I'm sitting in meeting sleep or not paying attention, you just miss something.
Right.
Well, that's something that Damone, you do so good at is, preparing.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like you write it down, like you said, you watch film and you're prepared. And I feel like a lot of the guys do not prepare properly. And sometimes you'll catch them out or,
Well, yeah. And I think probably because you're a younger player. Do you know what I mean? So I was going to ask you this question. You touched on it a little bit, is like when you're a rookie or newer to the team, like how do the old player, the established players, how are you treated by them? Are you guys like, do they welcome you or bring you in?
You buying the dinners?
Is it just a different dynamic where they kind of say themselves and you guys kind of gravitate towards one another, or how does that?
Obviously this is just my second year and I can only speak for here.
Right.
So for me, man, the team in general, it's never like you coming in, you getting drafted, undrafted, no matter what, you coming in. It's always, are you going to help us win? It's never, okay, I play linebacker and Leighton Vander Esch play linebacker. It's never like, Leighton telling me, "No, I'm not finna help you."
It's not competition.
Yeah, it's
Right,
not competition. It's like,
because you all have the same goal.
yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
are you going to help us win? That's
Right.
that's the bottom
That's
line.
yeah.
And the biggest thing that Coach McCarthy, his biggest thing is the locker room, the culture in the locker room, and that's a great culture in the locker room. A great group of guys. You got guys like DeMarcus Lawrence, Dak Prescott. You got CD. You got so many different guys. Zach Martin, Tyron Smith.
And are they talking each other, everybody up, or what?
Yeah.
What is that? I mean,
Setting that example.
yeah,
Man,
setting the example, and
Really, those guys lead by example. You know,
Right.
like Dak is a vocal guy, but there's no one that works harder than Dak. Dak gets to the facility super early and he leaves super late.
well, he's got a lot on his shoulders.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I only know this because last year when I was doing my rehab process, I would go to the facility early and I would do my rehab early. And it's either I would be there first or Dak would be there first every time. And even now, Dak would be literally the last one to leave. Like in the way that he works, I don't think there's a quarterback that works harder than Dak Prescott. And I'm
Really?
not saying this just because he's my quarterback.
Right.
I'm saying it because I actually
Well,
see
you've seen it,
I
yeah.
see the way that he works. When I
Yeah.
say he works hard, like he's drenched in sweat, like that's how hard he works. I've never seen no one that works as hard as him. And for him to be a quarterback and for him to work that hard, but like you say, he has a lot on his shoulders, and that's a guy that he's prepared for everything. He takes accountability. Even when something might not be on him,
When he has a tough game, like
he takes accountability.
yeah, he does. I respect that. Respect that.
A true leader.
No,
It is that is a great leader.
Because you're right, he does. He faces a lot of backlash, and of course, he's always in the media. Whether
He has
it's his
one
fault-
bad game,
whether
and,
it's
you know
his
what I mean?
fault or
Like,
not, he's gonna. That's what the quarterback does. But it's how you respond, and for you to say those things, it shows that he's putting in the work, and not just gonna go.
Well, I don't think a lot of people understand the culture of the team like you've explained it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that's, I mean,
a lot of people be on the outside looking in. Like a lot of people only realize when they see us play on Monday, Thursday, or Sunday.
that's what I was going to say. We see you on game day,
That's
that's all
only
we
time.
see.
But you never
And
see.
we judge you accordingly.
Yeah, and
yeah.
you never see the things like the work that you put in the off season, because obviously the work that you put in the off season are the things that's going to come upon when you in season.
Yeah.
If you working hard in the off season, it's going to show when the season comes around. You know what I'm saying? And that's a guy, man. He works hard, and like I said, I only know because last year I was going to the facility early, and he was always there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's very relatable what he just said. You always see the houses posted for that they sold the houses. I'm putting
You don't
some
see what
real
goes
estate
into
terms,
it to
but you
go,
don't
yeah.
see the 30 days of negotiations and everything else that
Or
realtors
when
go
the
through.
seller gets nervous and jumpy and a last minute thing comes up at closing or right before closing and you have to keep it all together. It's no matter.
It's mentally taxing for sure. This is the busier you are, the more mentally taxing it is.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's why you say grounded. You surround yourself with people that are like-minded, like faith.
No,
You know what I mean?
But one thing I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find some hobbies outside of football. Like because like I talk to Chase all the time, but he always like, "What you doing?" Like we talk all the time, every day, 2-3 times a day.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
And when I say,
when he's
like,
not talking to you, he's talking to me.
He's
So-
always asking. He's like, like what you got going, and it's like I give him the same responses. It's like cold tub, film. Like he like. I know he like that.
So you
He gonna do
need
something
something.
different.
How
So I
much
need-
time do you have to have a hobby, though?
Well,
I don't.
Y'all
it
were on
doesn't-
a little pickleball streak
Oh,
for a little
really?
bit.
Oh,
Were you
yeah,
part
a
of
little
that?
Pickleball.
No, I didn't play, but a lot of the guys was going to play. So majority we off on Tuesdays. So like Tuesday is our off day. So for me, it's like with me on Tuesdays, I get my body work. Now I get massages every Tuesday.
Yeah.
So I just take care of my body, but I do need some things outside of football.
Well, you could find, like a nonprofit or something. You know what I mean? To donate your time, church
That's what
related.
I'm saying. I just want to give back because
Yeah.
I just want to be encouragement to others.
That's awesome. I love that. It's a pleasure.
We're gonna have to get you to one of the games this year.
Yeah. It's awesome meeting you and getting to know you better, and I'm sure we'll see each other again.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So
Yeah, maybe when we get his house.